Call this meeting to order of the
Recording in
Sacramento.
progress.
Hold on here. Now that we've started recording, Madam Clerk, I'm going to call this meeting to order of the Sacramento Air Quality Management District on April 28th, 2022 at 9:01 a.m. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll to establish a quorum.
Yes. Director Aquino?
Here.
Director Daniels?
Here.
Director Desmond? Director Frost? Director Frost, I think you're muted.
Here.
Thank you. Chair Guerra?
Here.
Director Harris?
Here.
Director Kennedy?
Here.
Director Laloe? Director Natoli? Director Papineau?
Here.
Director Cerna? Director Singh Allen?
Here.
Director Pulipati?
Here.
Director Vang? I think Director Laloe is entering the Zoom call right now. Director Laloe?
Here.
Thank you. We have quorum.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. If everyone could please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. We're flying the flag here. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you could please read the clerk announcements.
In compliance with directives of the State and Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the physical location of this meeting is closed to the public, consistent with state and local officials' recommendation to promote social distancing and Assembly Bill 361. Members of the public are encouraged to participate in the meeting by observing the meeting in real time at metro14live.saccounty.gov, Zoom video conference line, and by submitting written comments electronically by email at boardclerk@airquality.org. Comments submitted in person will be delivered to the Board of Directors by staff. Public comments regarding matters under the jurisdiction of the Board of Directors will be acknowledged by the chairperson and accepted until the adjournment of the meeting, distributed to the Board of Directors, and included in the record. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District is cablecast live without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast Consolidated Communications, and AT&T Uverse cable system. This meeting is being closed captioned and will be webcast at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will be repeated on Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022 at 2 p.m. on Channel 14.
Great. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Let's go ahead. First, I do want to thank our Vice Chair. I have to step off at 10:10, and hopefully we'll be done by then, but we do have our budget fiscal year 2022-23 proposal to go through from our committee meeting. But let me start here, Madam Clerk, with our first item on the agenda.
The first item on the agenda, the consent calendar, item number 1, Assembly Bill 361 compliance, remote meetings during declared emergency. Item number 2, March 24th, 2022 Board of Director meeting minutes. Item number 3, March 24th, 2022 Budget and Personnel Committee meeting minutes. Item number 4, quarterly contract reports, January through March 2022. Item number 5, hearing board vacancy notification. And item number 6, Prozio Communication Contract Amendment.
Great. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let me see. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up to speak on this item?
No, Chair, we do not.
Okay, let me bring this back to the board. Questions from the board here?
Yeah, Chair, I'd like to ask a question of Dr. Ayala about the Prozio Communications Contract.
Dr. Ayala, item number 6, question from Board Member Harris.
Yeah, Dr. Ayala, this is a significant amount of money, especially when compared to our budget. So I'm just wondering what we are getting with this amended contract and if you feel that it's being used appropriately.
Thank you, Director Harris. I'll take an initial stab at the answer, and then I'm going to turn to Ms. Jamil Moons, who's our admin chief, to give you the fuller response. But as you all realize, the function of communication and outreach is absolutely critical for everything that we do, and we are doing more of it for a very good reason. So you compare that against the very limited resources that we currently have, and the fact that we do require some, shall I say, more sophisticated expertise in communications, things that bring us the current tools, social media, that sort of thing. So I do feel that this is warranted. This is in line with what we have done historically, but Ms. Moons can give you a fuller justification. Jamil?
Great, thank you. Good morning, directors. Yes, I appreciate the question, Director Harris, and this is a very important contract for us, as Alberto mentioned. In terms of staffing, not only have we been down historically in our communications team, we've had historically about 4 resources, but we were down to 1 for a couple of years, and now we're back up to 2. And we think that's a good level at this point to kind of handle what we do need, but we also need the expertise of this firm. We did do a competitive process 2 years ago. We had 5 respondents, very, very good, capable ones, and Prozio was the most competitive. And so we do rely a lot on them. There's tasks that they do, such as communication, expertise, as our engagement goes out, more direct engagement with the community. They also have that level of expertise. They put together some of the video production materials we use. They support programs such as the Check Before You Burn, the Community Air Protection, our Clean Cars for All, and now most recently our wildfire smoke response. So they really do lend that expertise to help us make sure our outreach is accurate, it's targeted, and that we get the message out. Also, one of the things to note about the amount of the contract, Dr. Harris, as you've mentioned, about 1/3 of it goes to direct media buys. So if we put a wrap on, say, like an RT bus to advertise some of our programs, or we also buy media spots on TV, radio, a portion of it, about 1/3 of that contract goes directly for that, not for the consulting services that we also receive. So I think overview, yes, I agree with Dr. Ayala for our team to be effective, to get our programs out, to communicate to the community what we do, what's available to them, to take part and advantage of the resources we provide. We feel it's a very critical program for us and contract for us.
Okay, I appreciate the response, and with that, I'll move consent, Chair.
Thank you, Board Member Harris. Is there a second to the consent calendar?
I'll second.
Been seconded by Board Member Laloe. Any further discussion? If not, always appreciate Board Member Harris being our consistent budget hawk here, and it keeps us on our toes. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Director Aquino?
Aye.
Director Daniels?
Aye.
Director Desmond? Director Frost?
Aye.
Chair Guerra?
Aye.
Director Harris?
Aye.
Vice Chair Kennedy?
Aye.
Director Laloe?
Aye.
Director Natoli? Director Papineau? Director Papineau, I think you're muted.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Director Cerna? Director Singh Allen?
Aye.
Director Pulipati?
Yes.
Director Vang?
Yes.
The consent calendar passes.
Great, thank you. And I do want to welcome Director Pulipati here from Rancho Cordova. Is this your first with us, Director?
This is, I'm subbing for Mayor Donald Terry today.
Well, thank you. And our former chair, Mayor Terry, is always missed, but always glad to have a new voice here. So with that, Madam Clerk, we'll go on to the next item.
The next item on the agenda is the Air Pollution Control Officer report, and I have Dr. Ayala on the line to give a presentation. Give me 1 second and I'll pull the PowerPoint up.
Thank you. I also want to welcome Director Pulipati. It's good to have you here with us. And we got into this tradition of starting off with the air quality conditions for the day of the meeting. And today you're joining us on a very good air quality day. Ozone and PM are all in the green. So breathe easily today. Thank you, board. Good to see you all. I do have an unusually lengthy APCO report. There's a lot of important information that we need to share with you so that you are aware of. There's quite a bit happening at the federal and at the state level, and that is the reason for the lengthy report. So we'll move through it as quickly as we can. Next slide, Madam Clerk.
Director Ayala, before we move to the next slide, I just wanted to make an announcement that the Air Pollution Control Officer report that went out to the Board of Directors on Friday, there has been one additional slide added to this presentation.
And thank you. I'll point that out to you. It's at the very end. Something that happened Friday as the packet was being sent to the board. The first one is the federal activity, and we have all been keenly aware of some of the infrastructure funding that our federal government is intending to go and has started to roll out to the various states and regions, and our region is no exception. And what I like to make you aware of is some of the efforts really good efforts that are happening in our region, in our very strongly coordinated coalition of agencies and entities and jurisdictions that are working together to move us all in the same direction. We have written letters of support, and they are included in your packet for your information. So I just want to highlight very quickly the 5 projects that we are getting fully behind in the hope that they come to our region, and if they do, they are going to be very important and critical to move us towards our clean air and decarbonization goals. The first one is this West Coast electric truck highway corridor. And the idea here is to sprinkle charging infrastructure along the West Coast so that we can envision and enable zero emission commercial freight technology. We absolutely need it because that is a source of a lot of our air pollution headaches. And we're working with a large partnership. The principal applicant is our partners, the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District down in the valley. They are the ones applying for the funds, the raised funds, and we have provided a very strong letter of support. More information to come, obviously, on all of these projects if they do get funded. The second one is one out of our from our Sacramento RT friends. Clearly, they are doing everything they can possibly to get to electrified technology as soon as possible. And my good friend Henry Lee and his staff have applied for funding for new light rail vehicles, which we all know are sorely needed. The second one comes out of the Fresno Council of Governments, the MPO, the equivalent of our SACOG, down in the valley as well. And this is for this idea that we have brought before you, which we call the California Inland Port. And again, that is an idea of bringing cleaner locomotives, zero emission trucking to help us move all the goods that come through the ports of LA and Long Beach and the move across our state. There's obviously activity coming out of the Port of Oakland, and we sit at the juncture of all these freeways and highways that are carrying all this commercial freight, and frankly, they're leaving us behind the pollution that we need to deal with. The next one comes out of our friends from SACOG, and you are all familiar with Green Means Go. We've been asking for state funding that hasn't materialized to the levels of funding that are needed. So our friends at SACOG are turning to the federal government under the RAISE grant program to try to get some of that funding. And then the last one, a reflection of the fact that we also care, and it's very important to recognize that we are not only an urban air district, but we have a strong connection to the rural areas of our jurisdiction. We're working with our friends in US Sutter Transit, who are also, like every other transit agency in the state of California, they have to put together a plan for how to get to zero emission transit buses very quickly. So they are looking at the federal funding for some of those resources. Next slide, please. Our friends at the city of Sacramento obviously have been very active as well, and we are very happy to support the direct request that went from the city to Senator Padilla. And this is specifically to complement and assist with the zero emission fleet infrastructure deployment and some of the EV activities, including subsidies for vehicles that the city of Sacramento is so well known for now. Clearly, we want to do anything and everything that we can to help the city of Sacramento and every other city in our jurisdiction. As you can see in the media, EVs are here and they are the way to go. We just got to find the funding and the right planning to make sure that our region is leading the charge towards zero emission vehicle deployment. Next slide. All right, so at the federal level, the Biden administration and his CPA have also been very active and proactively trying to address some fairly significant national air pollution problems. And we, as a member of the National Association of Clean Air Agencies, and we have a seat at the table of the leadership for the organization, we have also been very active engaging with EPA and other federal partners on some of the actions that are coming from the federal government. Some of these are very critical, very important, because even if we wanted to do something, some of these sources of pollution, we don't have the authority for, or the state for that matter. So we've written in favor of some new standards for mercury and air toxics from the power sector. These are very nasty pollutants that thankfully are not as big a problem in our area than in other parts of the country. But again, the association and all of us who are members are getting behind support for those more stringent standards. There's also been a lot of activity in the chemical manufacturing industry. And as you can imagine, again, that is a source of a number of toxic air pollutants, and EPA is also proposing more stringent standards for control of those emissions, and we are through NACA in favor of that. I had mentioned previously that EPA is also moving to enact more stringent PM emission standards for aircraft engine. So the association and us by that are calling for EPA to be more aggressive and to push for technology forcing standards that can clean up the aircraft engine sector. A couple of things that are still in development, so you don't have these letters. All these letters are in your packet. A couple that you're going to see in the future. We haven't finalized them yet because EPA hasn't rolled out the final form of the new standards, but these are very important to us. EPA has already proposed new low NOx and new low GHG emission standards for heavy duty truck engines. So again, I just spoke a minute ago about how these are very important for us because they're a big source of our air pollution. And the fact that EPA is moving with clean air standards is something that we are definitely applauding. And we're hopeful that we're going to get some pretty good policies out of the federal government that we expect to support. And then the last one, probably the one that you might have seen in the news, is the Biden EPA is also restoring some of the rollbacks that the previous administration enacted. They granted California the so-called waiver that you read about, and this is basically giving the state authority to set its own clean car standards. But beyond that, the EPA has proposed new car air and GHG emission standards, as well as new fuel economy standards. And we applaud those actions. We haven't seen the final form of the standard, but we anticipate that is something that we're going to like and that we are going to support under NACA signature. Next slide, please. At the state level, as you can imagine, the process of the state budget is in full gear. There's been a lot of activity with committee hearings and legislation that is in draft that we're commenting on. And there's a number of things here that I'd like you to be aware of that, again, as a part of the California Air Pollution Control Officers Association, CAPCOA, that we have commented. We have added our support or opposed position, as the case may be. And similar to NACA, as one of the 5 large air districts, we have a leadership role in the CAPCOA board organization. So the first one, and it's probably the most critical, this is one that I absolutely need you to remember because we need your support. Assemblymember Eddie Garcia has sponsored AB 2036 that is going to reauthorize one of our most historically notable and most critical programs for clean air, and that is the Carl Moyer Incentive Program. And these are the subsidies that we can use to work with the school districts, with your constituents, local businesses in the region, with our farmers in the region, so that we can give public dollars to try to get technology that is much cleaner than what otherwise you would get. So this is absolutely critical. There is unanimous support. There hasn't been one opposed vote. So we're hoping that this gets reauthorized for another 10 years. And the source of the funding makes sense, is the cap and trade funding from the state. We're also developing a letter of support in favor of AB 2852, which is interesting. It clarifies that we as an air district are an independent special district. And by that, we become eligible for some of the recovery funds that the state and the federal funding might still be putting in place. It's been of a sort of a nebulous area in the past, and this legislation will clarify it. We're also a part of something called the Sacramento Valley Basin-wide Air Pollution Control Council, the BCC. So this is a collection of 9 air districts, us, and 8 districts to the north. So this is essentially a council of rural districts, which, as you can imagine, have very unique needs and opportunities, and we are a part of that. Director Natoli is your representative on the BCC, and we have recently sent a letter to the governor and the leadership in the houses in support of essentially AB 2836 and some of the other funding that the governor is proposing to come through air agencies. The next 3 are all opposed positions, and I'll tell you the reason why we're opposing it. 1235 defines as an emergency these PSPS events, the public safety power shutoffs. So when there's a fire risk, electric utilities now have the ability to say, we're going to turn off the power, but in their effort to provide communities with the necessary power they need, they want to have the ability to turn on any and all diesel generators that they can find. And 1235 wants to essentially exclude our districts from any sort of permitting role in the deployment of those diesel generators. We clearly oppose this because, for one thing, if I can be so bold, it's somewhat just an incredible position that we got ourselves here. California, who's been historically leading the environmental charge in the world, and here we are now, we are letting uncontrolled diesel generators meet our power demand. I mean, it's just nonsensical. And we want to have a role. This is not about putting obstacles. This is about allowing us an orderly process to work with the electric utilities to deal with the power shortages when they do occur. And we understand that. We are anticipating this summer we're going to be in another bind. But again, we don't think that 1235 is the right avenue for us working with the utilities in this issue. The next one is 2563. This is very unique. There's been an emergence of these mobile refuelers, so that, I mean, if you think in the era of e-commerce, you pretty much can get anything through your phone these days, and pretty soon, including your gasoline that you need for your vehicle or your diesel that you need for your truck. And we don't like that because, again, there's a reason why gasoline stations are permitted and controlled very clearly. When you start to have trucks running around and giving you fuel, gasoline and diesel is not something you want to mess with. And not only for safety, but clearly there is a pollution potential there. And 2563 wants to put all regulations across the state into one single box. And again, you have 35 air districts because you have 35 different, very distinct and unique regions in the state, and one size fits all doesn't work. And the last one is 2550, which essentially gets at the very core of the reason why we have air agencies in the region. And this is one that would take some of the authority over the stationary sources over to the state. So At the end, I'll pause and see if you can if I can address any of your questions. Again, all these letters are in your packet. If you have any concerns, anything that you want to discuss, obviously we're here for you. I see a hand from Director Frost. Chair, I don't know if you want to pause and
let me pause here and let me Director Frost, you have your hand raised. You have a question for Director Ayala on the PSEO report?
Yes, thank you, Director Ayala. I was questioning on SB 1235. I'm assuming there's solar and other types of generators that could be used, but I'm thinking about these blackouts and the potential, like medical and people who are on oxygen and how it's necessary to have a backup. But what you're proposing, I guess my question is, what are the alternatives to the diesel? I know there's solar, right? So what are the alternatives that we could, make sure we put in place to cover these gaps in the event of a blackout?
So I'll start with the good news, because again, this is a statewide measure, right? And thankfully, thanks to our friends, SMOD, our district is mostly unaffected and has been unaffected. And knock on wood, hopefully that won't be the case this summer. So we mostly see this in the PG&E territories of the state. Now, what we are saying is, Director Frost, we totally understand. This is not about leaving people stranded days on out without power. What we don't like is we want the utilities to use the cleanest diesel generators available, not pretty much anything they can find. That's the problem.
Got it.
Because unfortunately, to your point, technology in terms of wind and solar is not ready to be deployed in this case. So we understand that we need to rely on internal combustion engines to close the gap. What we don't like is this bill intends to basically, it's a blank check for the utilities. They'll go out in the market, they'll go out to whatever and bring whatever they can. And what we are saying is, no, let's do this in a better way. Let's start with the cleaner technologies. If that is available, we want you to try to deploy those. So that's what this is about.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Board Member Frost.
Thank you for the question. And again, I apologize. I realize I'm giving you a lot of information, but it's all relevant.
Tis the season, Director Ayala.
Yeah.
Bills are there.
Next slide, please. All right, it's gonna get easier because the last is just a bunch of FYIs. I hope you recognize that we have in our land use team, one of the leading teams in the state, maybe even in the nation, if not the leading team. And a small reflection of that capacity and leadership is two very recent awards. You're gonna have a presentation on this project as a part of the agenda today because it's been completed. It's something that our staff work with planners at the cities and the county, so it's relevant information for you. But what I wanted to do is to give kudos to our team. The work that they've done on behalf of CAPCOA and the state has been recently recognized with a couple of awards that you see here. One from the Climate Change Business Journal and the other one, the American Social Planning Association. So again, we could not be more proud. This is precisely a reflection of the leadership that our excellent staff execute. And on behalf of the state, on behalf of CAPCOA, we went out, got the funding from the state, got this project in place, and guess what? This is leading the charge and it's getting recognized. But I'll leave it up to Mr. Philly, who's going to make the staff presentation later to add additional details.
Thank you, Director Ayala. I see Director Frost's hand still up.
Maybe it's left over from the.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Want to make sure everyone has their opportunity.
Yeah.
Other questions from the board on the director on the APICO report?
I still have a couple more. So
let's go. Let's keep moving.
Yeah. Next slide, please. Again, help us get the information out. We talked about communication and how important it is. We need your help. We have funding available for these emergency preparedness actions that our residents can take in the form of buying portable air cleaners, air filters, and even HVAC retrofits. And this is really enabled by AB 836, where they put, the state put $5 million to go for these efforts. Most of the money actually goes to the Bay Area, San Joaquin, and a couple other districts, but there is a pot of funding that the schools, community centers, senior citizen centers, sports centers can apply for. And again, these are very simple. You put in, you get money for equipping your residents, your business, in a way that will better protect you when we get hit with the next wildfire. So again, the link is on the it's on the website, on the slide. Please include it in your newsletters and let your city managers know, your school administrators know that this funding is out there. Next slide, please. Hopefully you all had a chance to partake in some Earth Day activities. We certainly did. And what I want to share with you is that we're also, to the extent that we can, providing very modest sponsorships for a number of key organizations in the region. The Sac Area Bicycle Advocates, because of May as the bike month. The Environmental Council of Sacramento, ECOS, had a very large festival in Southside Park on Sunday, and we provided sponsorship for that. And also Biketober in October with the Sacramento Transportation Management Association. So again, these are very modest sponsorships, in the order of maybe $500 to $1,000 that we like to provide to our advocates who are helping us move the needle. Next slide, and this is the last one. So this is a new slide that you don't have in your packet because, as you know, you might have seen the article in Sacramento Bee on Thursday. And I mean, frankly, the headline does catches your eye, right? I mean, Sacramento's got the filthiest air in the US, or some of the filthiest air. I mean, that's certainly a distinction that we don't like, and we're fighting very hard not to have that distinction. But what I wanted to give you is the complete picture, because clearly the newspaper is after grabbing eyes, and they certainly did. But what you don't hear is the fact that, yes, particle pollution, the fine dust that you see in the air, it has been pretty bad. And again, you guessed it, is the wildfires, right? And there's not much we can do other than working with the state and the feds and everybody else who's trying to handle the issue. But unless and until we handle the source of that fuel and the fire ignition problems, we may be in this position for a while. And we need to recognize that we certainly don't like it. We want to do everything that we can to protect the community, but at the same time, I think it's a little unfair to ping this on the region when it's truly out of our control. The one thing that you also don't get is the fact that on one of our biggest air pollution problems, the ozone pollution that we see, and here we are at the beginning of the summer, we actually made improvements. Our ranking is still pretty high, right? We're ranked number 9 out of 226 metro areas in the US. That's still pretty high, but it's actually better than where we've been. So I just wanted you to have a full picture. We were not approached by the bee, we were not contacted. I credit the American Lung Association for raising awareness for these issues. But at the same time, I think it's always good for you to have a balanced perspective and not just go with the headlines. And with that, I'll conclude my APCO report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Ayala. I see Director Daniels is unmuted here. Director Daniels?
Yeah, I just wanted to encourage Dr. Ayala to maybe reach out. Usually when the Sacramento Bee writes one of their crappy little articles like this, there is an opportunity to come back maybe and do a guest editorial or guest commentary to clarify the position, and hopefully people will take the time to read that. And I'm trying really hard to refrain from making other comments about the Sacramento Bee, but I would encourage Dr. Ayala to maybe reach out with a correction to their crappy reporting.
If I may, Mr. Chair, just to continue with Director Daniels, Dr. Arriola, just to follow on that, he's absolutely right. I think unfortunately, our local newspaper has become more of an opinionated paper with very minimal journalist research. And I think we'll see that through all the papers. Our last year bloggers have become journalists. So whether they rewrite that article or not, I want to personally thank you and your wonderful team for doing such a great job and pushing Sacramento to see better days. But I do have one question. Has the state brought experts like yourself to sit behind and, around the round table to see what actions can we take as a state to minimize some of these wildfires? And has there been any suggestions there that we might want to start implementing in the near future?
Thank you, Director Laloy. The short answer to your question is yes, and in fact, I do want to recognize that the governor and the state are putting massive resources on the table for CAL FIRE, for the natural resources agencies. They are trying their best, and they're actually walking the talk with respect to the amount of resources that has been dedicated to the prevention of wildfires. When we go into response mode, is basically that. It already happened and it's coming our way, and we scramble to try to inform our community. So I do want to acknowledge that there is a lot that is being done. Clearly, the federal government has a big role because a lot of the lands that have potential fuel to burn is federal. So the state is working with the feds as well. But as you can imagine, it's such a massive problem that is going to take time, right? And it's a massive problem because we have so much fuel out there. It's been so dry, right? And we're probably not going to get any rain anymore this year. So we're just bracing. So it's a very complex problem that is going to take time to resolve. And that's why we also need to be prepared to respond, because the solutions are not going to come quickly or easy. But I appreciate the question, and anything that you can do in your roles to communicate to the community that unfortunately, this is kind of the way we're going to have to get used to living in the Sacramento area. And, we're not alone, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Laloy. No, I would say that when I read the article, as much as I hated the headline, I also saw, like, hey, we got better. The rankings for us, we've actually been doing good work on this despite the external challenges. With that, thank you, Director Ayala. Are there any other questions from the board here on the API CO report? Saying that, Madam Clerk, we'll move on to our discussion calendar for the day.
The next item on the discussion calendar, item number 7, California Air Pollution Control Officer Association Greenhouse Gas Handbook and California Emissions Estimator Model Project Update. And I have Paul Philly on the line to give a presentation.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. If we could pull up the slides for this item. And while that's happening, I'll give a brief overview. Back in the early 90s, not to say any of you were around back then making these decisions, but we decided as a region that we were going to help address the air quality challenges through land use and transportation. 1993 was a very seminal year when Sacramento County adopted in their general plan Air Quality Measure 15, which required a 15% reduction in business as usual for land use projects. And the rest of the jurisdictions followed suit. It was put into our 1994 SIP. And so for 3 decades, this agency has been partnering with 21 different lead agencies, and of course, the jurisdictions being among them, to come up with innovative, accurate, flexible ways to build our communities in ways that are air quality friendly. Next slide, please. Right now, we're using this guidance, and it was put together in 2010. It was a seminal piece of work led by the Northern Sonoma Air District, and it's honestly popped up everywhere. I had a colleague in Wisconsin who tells me that they actually took it, stripped off the California label, changed the defaults, and they're using it. But it estimates greenhouse gas emissions, it estimates vehicle miles traveled, And it has been the basis for basically every environmental document or climate action plan that you've looked at. The air quality section and the greenhouse gas section and a big hunk of the transportation section comes out of this guidance. But it was put together back in 2010. And as you know, CEQA has these requirements of having accurate current data. So it was getting to the point where the measures didn't make sense anymore in 2020. And it was also no longer being as defensible and as accurate as it could be. Next slide, please. So we worked, Shelley Zhang, who is a planner on staff, put together a grant application for a Caltrans adaptation planning grant with the goal of taking this basically standard tool and updating it with the most current research available. And we're also going to put in climate adaptation into it as well. We also reached out to the California Department of Public Health, and they were able to provide additional funding for us to start considering health and equity. You know that we've had the Bryant Ranch decision, SB 1000, and other mandates, and we're trying to make sure that our agency and the tools that we provide to your jurisdictions are going to be able to meet the future needs of California and the future mandates that are likely to happen. We started in March of 2020, so this has been a completely remote exercise. And over the last 2 years, with the California Air Pollution Control Officers Association, ICF, Fair and Peers, STI, your jurisdictions across the state, we have been able to put together something that I'm very proud to present to you. Next slide, please. Few big features that it has. One is we really wanted to make this easier to use and more transparent. So we made sure that we have all the innovative things that the mobile source team is working on are now at measures that are put into it. It also looks at climate risk and climate challenges that we're going to have, and also a health and equity chapter so that we can really start thinking about how we can build our communities in a way so that everybody has benefits of clean air. We also updated the associated model. CaliMod is the tool that takes the pieces of the handbook and allows a consultant or local jurisdiction to be able to estimate the emissions modeling. It's now pulling local data, so we're actually able to provide information that's specific to your communities, to either your consultants, your staff, or your community groups. And we're able to put these into very much more digestible and understandable reports. So those were the main goals. Next slide, please. Right now, we've got about 276 different measures inside of the book. And it is a very tight, some 800 odd pages, but we've really felt it's important to have those pieces of transparency. Next slide, please. It also provides maximum choice for our developers. So each measure has this fact sheet that shows you how effective it is in reducing criteria air pollutants as well as greenhouse gas pollutants, the associated co-benefits, and it's across different sectors. So whether you're working on a climate action plan or whether you're working on an air quality plan or whether you're even 743, this could be used for. Next slide, please. We also really wanted to acknowledge the changing climate that's happening here in California. So for example, everybody in the Sacramento Valley is moving to Tucson without packing our bags. Right now, that's our climate future. So recognizing that we're going to be experiencing higher instances of wildfires and more extreme heat events and more prone to flooding, based on where you are in the community, it will tell you what those climate hazards are, and the model will present you with options that can help address those climate hazards. Next slide, please. We also wanted to do this for health and equity concerns. So, for example, in Sacramento, we have a lot of census tracts and a lot of places that have high diesel pollution or high particulate matter pollution. You may want to have high efficiency indoor air filtration. That is one way to help make a more resilient population. So if there's a wildfire event, you can turn on your air filter and at least have a clean place to breathe. We also wanted to make sure that these different community challenges could be elevated. And then the model would also present to you reduction measures that have appropriate co-benefits. So depending on where you are, we actually pull from CalEnviroscreen, which is the tool used to identify disadvantaged communities. And it also pulls from Healthy Places Index, which looks at a series of health indicators and predictors in California, so that our staffs have the best information possible in one place. And then the model will recommend options that can also hit your greenhouse gas goals, as well as trying to address the most critical concerns in each census tract. Next slide, please. So I wanted to share a few screenshots of our beta model. We're trying to have it very...
Mr. Philly, I see a board member, Pulipati, has her hand raised. Board member Pulipati, question for Mr. Philly?
Yeah, I had a really quick question. The previous slide, you said we invest in local art. Could you just expand on that a little bit?
Sure. So there was actually a study that showed that when you put asphalt paintings, you may have seen these in intersections, you actually reduce collisions there by about 50%. So you can use public art as a way to reduce traffic fatalities and traffic incidents, which increases walking and biking and making it more safe for people. That's one example, as local art used as an air quality measure.
Got it. Okay.
And so that's the kind of research that we're trying to pull in to give as many options as possible. So next slide, please. So when you start your project, you're actually given, next slide, please. Thank you. A map of the region, and you select where your project is, and it automatically pulls in your transportation analysis zone, your default utilities. And then if you go to the next slide, you can see that we worked with our partners at SACOG so that you're getting information straight from SACOG. It's no longer you're having to figure this out. So it's much more easy for a jurisdictional planner or a community member to actually run the model instead of needing to punch in a bunch of transportation information that you may not have. Next slide, please. The model then looks at the CalEnviroscreen scores and the hazards, and then recommends measures based on the challenges and incidences that are occurring within the location of the community. I do want to say this isn't perfect. There is a strong process that the model also recommends, because you can't just do planning from an office in downtown Sacramento. You really have to work with your communities, but we wanted it to be a really good starting point so that you can get a sense of the challenges that we have data on that the community are facing, the different mitigation targets that you need to go. And then we would recommend that you work with your communities or people with more local knowledge to find what would be the best fit for the developer, the community, and the jurisdiction. Next slide, please. Right now, Caltrans is already recouping their investment. They're putting together a VMT playbook that is basically completely based off of the handbook. We also have heard that local jurisdictions are using it to fulfill some of their local planning mandates as well. And CEQA consultants have been using the handbook as well. And we're finding that the integrated planning and health and equity sections are starting to be picked up, and it could be used for these as a starting point for inclusive and more equitable planning. Next slide, please. So in 1 month, we will be launching, May 9th is the date, for the CaliMod model. And we already have training sessions planned for May 10th and May 13th. And most of you have jurisdictional planners who are signed up for it. And then there will be a special training for community groups so that they can be able to use these tools on May 16th. Once we get the model launched, we'll be changing our guidance so that the new CaliMod and new handbook will be integrated into our programs, and then promulgated through your local jurisdictions. And we hope that it provides some streamlining for the creation of these environmental documents, as well as assisting you with fulfilling your climate goals, as well as any climate equity mandates that you may be doing, or things that you maybe choose to doing. So I think that's everything. And I'll turn it over to Guillermo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Philly. Questions from the board here? Not, I know that's a lot to take, but what the effort is to try to be able to make this more accessible to the public, rather than digging through all of our information. With that, this is a receive and file. Are there any questions from the public, Madam Clerk?
No, Chair, not at this time.
Very good, then. Let me go back to the board here. If there are no questions from the board, then we're going to proceed then to our next discussion item here. Yes, Director Philly. Thank you very much.
Sarah,
we'll go ahead and proceed. Yes.
Yeah, just a comment. I'd like to thank Mr. Philly for the presentation. This is really an excellent tool, and I really look forward to its release. This kind of information is really going to be a great tool to educate our constituency about various projects and scenarios that they may be thinking of. So thank you. I really enjoyed your presentation.
Yeah, and I just want to say that I couldn't have done it without the really excellent staff that we've been able to recruit over the years here at the Air District. Shelley Zhang, Karen Huss, Matt Renfro, who's our Civic Spark Fellow. It's been the pleasure of my professional career to put this together. And I don't think I'm exaggerating to say this is probably the most important thing I'll ever work on. So thank you.
Well, my thanks to all involved.
You have some emoji applauses here from Board Member Vang as well. So Director Ayala.
So again, thank you all for those comments, and thank you, Mr. Philly. Just to emphasize for the board, this is the way that California is going to do land use planning. So your agency is setting a very high bar. And by association, if we go in this direction, if California goes in this direction, you can rest assured that this is going to be a momentum changing action across the nation, because other regions are going to be picking up on this. And so I could not be more proud of what our team has been accomplished, because here we are, our little agency in the capital region, setting the bar for not only the state and potentially for the nation. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Ayala. Okay, Madam Clerk, we'll go on to our last discussion item before our budget item.
Item number 8 on the discussion calendar, potential greenhouse gas offset program. And I have Rafe Porter on the line to give a presentation.
Good morning, Chair Gaddam, members of the board. Rafe Porter, I'm Program Manager of the Transportation and Climate Change Division here at the district. The item before you is information only. It's really just intended to bring you up to speed on some work that the district has been conducting related to climate mitigation and a potential creation of a climate mitigation bank. As development increases throughout the region, and just driving around the county, you see skyscrapers and construction projects happening all over. So it is increasing. And as more and more jurisdictions adopt climate action strategies, there's a growing need to find ways to provide mitigation and to help offset the greenhouse gas emissions associated with the construction and operation of these new facilities. So that's what we're bringing to you today. So next slide, please. This isn't the first time that someone or even the district has explored a local program or a bank to help with these emissions. In fact, since the adoption of the statewide scoping plan in 2008, there's been different entities that have created local programs with varying success. There was an early effort put forward by CAPCOA with help from the Air District. And it was a statewide program called GHGRX. GHGRX was a registry of greenhouse gas reduction projects that really was a facilitator of communication between the different parties. So those that created the credits, the projects, potential buyers, and then the funding organizations, and that was the bank itself. While the program really did a great job of pulling together all of the needed steps and set up the protocols needed for a bank, the exchange really never really took off. It still exists within CAPCOA, but there hasn't been a lot of use of that particular program. There has been a couple of efforts at the Air District as well on GHG mitigation banks. In 2009, the district board actually adopted Rule 250 that established the Sacramento Carbon Exchange Program. This was a verification and quantification program for voluntary measures, so things that would satisfy CEQA and other environmental requirements, including the retirement of credits to reduce the carbon footprint, to use in other local, state, federal, or even international programs. Rule 250 really provided the guidance and mechanism to certify carbon reduction credits. More recently, as Paul alluded to, the Air District adopted a set of greenhouse gas thresholds. These are used to analyze development projects and associated emissions, and they really provide a defensibility of environmental analysis to the jurisdictions and the development community. As part of this threshold work, the district staff and the staff at your local jurisdictions explored the potential of creating a GHG mitigation bank as part of that threshold work. There was a lot of great discussion, but at the time it was considered too expensive to really get it up and going. And so it wasn't pursued any further. However, since then, there's been a lot of desire to make some of these offsets more locally. And so that's really kind of made the program, or the potential of a program, a little bit more feasible. Next slide, please. So we all know that greenhouse gases are a global emission. And what this really means is that when they're emitted, they go up in the atmosphere, and then that impacts the entire globe. This is unlike some criteria pollutants that have a more local impact. However, a lot of this obviously comes from the same source. So there are advantages to offsetting them locally, which is why we are exploring a program like this. Some of this includes reductions in other pollutants and toxins. It does create a local impact by infusing resources into the local economy. It does have a health impact associated with the reduction of these emissions and the toxics. And it obviously has a community impact as well. We'll be bringing, or it has the potential to bring in projects into a local community that are desired or actually needed in order to improve quality of life. Next slide, please. There are things that need to be considered when exploring a program such as this, and the district is doing some due diligence to make sure that it's not just equally beneficial to all the parties involved, so the district, the jurisdictions, and the development community, but to also make sure that we're not putting any of those parties at risk. One of the big barriers, and as others have discovered and we've talked about, is the cost of implementing and operating a program. The initial setup of this can be very costly given the many components that are involved. And the cost to participate in a local program can be costly as well, especially relative to larger exchanges. And this is due to the scale of the projects that are in some of these. I think a really simple example is that reducing a ton by saving rainforests in South America, for example, is a lot cheaper on a per ton basis than a similar project would be in Sacramento. So that just gives you a sense of how that scale changes that per ton. As mentioned, there's also some legal risk in this if emission reductions aren't actually demonstrated or realized. So we want to make sure that the program is rigorous enough to mitigate those risks. And lastly, there needs to be political support. Support for a local program like this needs to come from its elected officials. Climate action taken at that local level, so things like your climate action plans and elements of other policies, would need to be prioritized at that local level. So again, think of that rainforest example where you can mitigate it by having credits and increasing rainforests in South America, where we can try to find some local examples and mitigate them that way. Next slide, please. So what is the district going to do, and what have we been doing? We're going to continue to have the conversations with our partners, I think, first and foremost. It begins with this board presentation, but we're also continuing to talk to your staff. We're talking to other public agencies, and we're talking to the building industry. And what we're really trying to do is just make sure that there is a continued interest in each step of our process to make sure that we continue the program. We'll need to explore what projects could be included in such a program and what it would take to actually get them to be a part of that. Luckily, we do have that Rule 250, so we can work with that rule to determine how to quantify and verify projects that could go into a potential bank. We'll also need to explore this administrative and legal barriers that have been identified and that we will identify as we continue to move through this process, and just to make sure that, again, that we understand them and if possible, address them. In short, we're just exploring this program and just starting that. We just really wanted to bring this to you, inform you that this work is taking place. We're going to learn from the past experiences, from not only things that we've done, but some of our partners and that have happened throughout the state. And just make sure, again, that this is not only mutually beneficial, but we can create a program that can be used by all. So that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions you have or any directions from the board at this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Porter. First, I do want to say that, the fact that our local industry here, the building industry, has been looking at how do we keep benefits local. I think while the risk is that, the economy scale issue, going at it alone in our region, it also, at least for me, it gives me encouragement that the benefits stay here. The benefits are more immediate and direct. We're not providing some offset for some other part of the state. We're actually making changes here. But I understand that this is a receive and file and informational, and I think there's more to come. But let me bring this, Madam Clerk, are there any questions from the public on this item?
No, Chair.
Okay, then let me bring this back to the board here. Are there questions from the board for Mr. Porter? If not, again, this offset program is still in discussion and being worked out with our partners. And so as we get further, there'll be more to report out. Thank you, Mr. Porter. I appreciate all the hard work. Let's keep at it. I think it'd be innovative for us if we did find something that worked with us that we could actually execute. Okay, Madam Clerk, we'll move on to our last item in the public hearing.
Item number 9, the fiscal year 2022 to 2023 proposed budget and fee schedule. And I have Patty Kepner on the line to give a presentation. Give me 1 second and I'll pull it up.
Hey, good morning, Chair Guerra and directors. My name is Patty Kepner. I'm the controller for the district, and I'm pleased to present the fiscal year 22-23 proposed budget and fee schedule to you this morning. And we can once you get that up, we can move to the next slide. Next slide, please. What we'll cover today primarily is some foundational information on the budget itself in the district, and then we'll have 3 areas to highlight: the 22-23 proposed budget, the 5-year forecast for the district, and then our proposed fee schedule for fiscal year 22-23. Next slide, please. This is, I won't spend much time here. This is a diagram of our annual process for the budget. And we do have a very inclusive budget collaborative process, but I did want to highlight the 2 boxes that are highlighted purple, just to note that we did bring, staff did bring the proposed budget to the subcommittee, the Budget Personnel Committee, in March, the end of March, and we're directed to bring the budget to this meeting, which is the first of 2 public hearings. And then the plan is that we will have the second public hearing at the May meeting where we will propose adoption of the budget, and then that budget becomes effective July 1. Next slide, please. Again, these are our strategic initiatives for the district. They should look familiar. They are enduring and they do get updated, but for the most part, they are very stable, and as well as our district vision. So the strategic initiatives support that vision. So next slide. And these are a focus of the priority projects for fiscal year 22-23. And that is what the budget is funding. So we have the dollars and the resources within the budget to fund these activities. This is just a highlight of them. We have many more projects and many more operations that are ongoing. However, you can see it's a wide variety from returning back to our workplace in an efficient hybrid way, as well as to completing an air monitoring station in Del Paso. So this is what the budget will fund, and the budget has the resources and to adequately move these projects forward. So next slide, please. So now we'll get into the budget itself. We do have just a little bit of review. We do have 3 funds. We have our general fund, where most of our operation activities are. That's where our payroll is. That's where we have contracts for professional services, as well as capital. And our revenues there are coming from DMV, from stationary source fees, as well as some grants and Measure A. So these are our revenue and expenditures in that fund for 22-23. We do have a use of fund balance projected, and we'll talk more about that and a little bit more in detail about the general fund as well, because that's where we really focus a lot of our energy. The next fund is our proprietary or our Covell building fund, and that's our administrative building downtown. And so this houses the activities for that fund. The revenues are rent, primarily from the district, as well as the expenditures for upkeep for and operation of the building. And then finally, we have our special revenue fund, which is our incentives fund, where we keep things such as the Moyer funds and all of the additional incentives that need to be tracked separately. And again, you can see we have a use of fund balance in the special revenue, but again, that is a good thing. We are pushing incentives and getting those out the door post-COVID as supply chain issues improve or go away, I should say, and also that we have our participants ready to move forward on their projects as well. So that is the overall picture of the budget for the year. And next slide, please. This is a focus for the same 3 funds on expenditures between the fiscal 21-22 approved budget and the fiscal 22-23 proposed budget. And so for the general fund, I guess most of our operating expenses, it's $1 million proposed increase. That's about 4%. And there's a slide in just a moment that looks at that a little bit more closely, but a lot of that has to do with our cost of living, which is 4%. For employee services, for wages and benefits. So that's the majority of the change. Very little change in the proprietary fund and the special revenue fund. Again, we are looking to increase the distribution of incentives to the community. Next slide, please. So again, just some top level changes for our general fund. We do see revenues increasing. And we do have the expenditures increasing as well. We are proposing 3.5 additional FTE. I'll have some more information on that. I mentioned the 4% COLA. And then the other thing to highlight is we do have a software solution that we're proposing. And we're just in the implementation phase of that project for our permitting and compliance database and the transportation incentive software. So next slide, please. Wanted to spend just a moment on positions. So we are proposing the 3.5 positions. There would be 2.5 in operations for air quality engineers and 1 administrative specialist. And just to note on this chart, we have funded, unfunded for budget status, an appointment, whether they're regular or limited term. And you can see these are regular positions that are going up to 3.5. And really focus on that funded subtotal because that's what's in the budget. The unfunded positions historically were presented for informational purposes only, and those were not included in the budget, but kind of a history or a placeholder of potential positions. We'd still have to come to the board to get approval for them. So we are moving forward for clarity and best practices, removing the unfunded positions from the presentations and our budget book and our anything that we describe in terms of headcount. So again, the focus here is going from the 94.1 to the 97.6. And the next slide gives a little more of a historical perspective on that. Next slide, please. So here's the 5-year trend. Actually, it's this 5-year actuals and 1 year proposed for 22-23. And these are the approved positions that we had in the budget. And you can see that we're really just restoring the staffing levels that we had in fiscal year 17-18. We did bring those positions down during the COVID period to be conservative, to manage expenses, and really not knowing the outcome of that. And now we are restoring that headcount back to what we've seen historically, and actually a little below what we've seen historically. So,
Patty, I'm going to
yes.
Want to hand over the gavel to Supervisor Kennedy, our Vice Chair, but I do wanted to make a point here that if we recall, when Director Ayala came on, he made the decision, and the board agreed to hold positions open to make sure that we can manage our budget and try to address that. And since then, as you can tell, we've been able to control the structural part of the deficit. But now I think this is definitely, I think, an acknowledgement that that we need to make sure that we maintain our staffing levels to execute the work. And we're back at, I want to make that point clear, that 2017, 2018 was a year where we're barely getting back to where those levels are at. So before that, I wanted to make sure that we made that point clear, because I know that's part of our long-term discussion. This item will be heard again as well. We have 2 more public hearings. Is that correct, Patty?
This is the first, and then we have one in May. So that'd be the second one.
The second one. So with that, I wanted to make that point before I logged off. But Vice Chair Kennedy, would you mind taking over the gavel here? And thank you, Patty, for the presentation here.
Thank you, Chair. Patty, please continue.
Okay. Next slide, please. This is looking at our general fund, the fund balance. So for 21-22, the approved budget had a use of fund balance with expenses exceeding revenues of about $3 million. What we're projecting for the actual for 21-22 is we'll actually be returning fund balance. We have a source of fund balance, and that's primarily because our expenditures have been less due to open positions and or deferred projects. And then for 22-23, we've got the $1.7 million use of fund balance, and that will project out to about an $18.3 million ending fund balance, which is well above the required reserve policy that the district has. So it's almost as if in 21-22, we've generated some fund balance that we'll be using in 22-23. Next slide, please. And this graphic is showing you the fund balance. The green line is the special revenue fund. You can see we, during the COVID times, built up incentive dollars there as there was obstacles and hesitancy moving forward with implementing those in the external world, really. And then we'll be using up those funds or taking those down in fund balance in 22-23. And then the blue is the general fund, and the proprietary fund is very stable. So next slide, please. So that is the look at the proposed budget for next year. And as part of any good planning process, you take a look forward for 5 years to see what's out ahead and see what kind of adjustments you may have to make. And so we did that, and we've got an overview here by fund. And for the general fund, we have basically it's conservative assumptions I'm saying in here. We have relatively flat revenue. We haven't included any new revenue sources. We haven't identified any significant new revenue sources to include in the forecast as of yet. And we are assessing those strategies. And then the expenses, we just grew at a 3% inflationary rate, whether it was the cost of living adjustment or other expenses, and we did not add any additional headcount. So we kept things really to those expenses that were essential and required. So that's what we did in the general fund, and the structural deficit with expenses being higher than revenues continues, use of fund balance throughout that planning horizon. And we'll look at that in just a moment in a graph. Proprietary fund, which is our building fund, was break even. And the special revenue fund, as I talked about, we're using forecasting use of fund balance, which is good because that means we're getting incentive funds out to the community. So next slide, please. So here's the general fund. The graphic of what we expect with that deficit or use of fund balance. So you can see over the time frame, without any additional revenue sources or basically anything significantly new introduced into this forecast, we do expect to continue that use of fund balance, and that's not going to be sustainable for the long term. Next slide, please. So with that, obviously we need to solve that problem and engage the board looking at an adjustment for permit fees, looking at full cost recovery. We have a lot of resources within the district that support our stationary source permits. And so we'll be taking a look potentially at making sure that we're recovering all those costs. We're also looking at a new fee that would be part of that fee study, most likely for community health impact. And then also bringing back, if you will, the discussion around the per capita fee or other local measures. As always, we continue to look for ways to be more efficient, to offset any of those inflationary cost increases, and also look for ways to bring additional funding to the region that we can help leverage our operations. Next slide. Final topic is our proposed fee schedule. This is for our stationary sources fees. We adjust those based foundationally on a CPI index. And so our proposed increase for 22-23, is 5.65%. We have 4% that's coming right off that CPI index. And then we have 1.65%, which is, we had deferred, as many of you remember, our 2021 CPI increase due to COVID, and then we implemented that over 2 years. So this fiscal year 21-22 is the first year of rolling out that carryover of 1.65, and then we have the second year, which will be 22-23, that we will add that. So that's a total of 5.65% that we have proposed on the adjustment to the fee schedule. Next slide, please. Okay, with that, it concludes my presentation, and the recommendations are to open and close the public hearing on the fiscal year 22-23 proposed budget fee schedule, provide direction to staff regarding development of the final budget, and then set the public hearing in May for the final review and adoption of the budget and fee schedule. And I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you. Before we go to the public hearing, I will ask the board if you have any questions. I see no hands raised. Then I will open the public hearing. Is there any member of the public that would like to speak on this item at this time?
No, Chair, there is not.
Thank you. Then I will close the public hearing and once again ask the board if you have any questions, comments. Well, by lack thereof, Patty, I believe that you have your direction.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Vice Chair Kennedy, we still need a motion to pass this item.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll move it.
Second, Frost.
Was that Loloe that moved?
Harris.
Harris, thank you. Please roll call vote.
Director Aquino?
Aye.
Director Daniels?
Aye.
Director Desmond? Director Frost?
Aye.
Chair Guerra? Director Harris?
Aye.
Director Kennedy?
Aye.
Director Loloe?
Aye.
Director Natoli? Director Papineau?
Aye.
Director Cerna? Director Singh Allen? Director Pulipati?
Yes.
Director Vang?
Yes.
This motion passes.
Thank you. At this time, is there any public comment?
No, there is not.
Okay, are there any ideas, comments, AB 1234 reports from the board? All right, that was the easiest meeting I've ever chaired. So thank you, everybody. With that, we are adjourned.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.